The message we shall be presenting to you was formally unveiled for the first time. That unveiling was done in what was then British India, in a small town named Uravakonda, in what was then called Madras Presidency. And the one who revealed the message was a small 14-year-old boy named Sathya Raju. Earlier that morning, Sathya left for school as usual, carrying his bag, complete with books and notebooks. However, after going some distance, he returned, flung his bag aside, and announced to his startled elder brother and sister-in-law that he was no longer their Sathya, and that he was leaving home, family, and school for good in order to serve humanity. Leaving his brother in a sort of shell-shocked condition, Sathya then went to a nearby garden and sat on a rock there while a small crowd gathered. After a while, Sathya led the crowd with a small bhajan that we all know, and which of course has not only become justly famous, but also marks the curtain raiser on the Sri Sathya Sai avatar, the incarnation of the divine in this Kali age. All that happened on 20th October 1940. To appreciate the significance of that event, we need to go way back to the year 1926, to the small and little-known hamlet called Puttaparthi. Here in this house in Puttaparthi, in the early hours of 23rd November 1926, was born a little boy, the same boy whom we saw earlier. This boy, whose full name was Sathya Raju, was the grandson of one Kondamaraju. His father was Pedda Venkamaraju, while his mother bore the name Ishwaramma. The Rajus were no doubt poor, but their moral stature was so high that all of them, Patriarch Kondamaraju in particular, commanded great respect amongst everyone in the village, both the rich and the poor. It was clear right from birth that there was something most unusual and extraordinary about young Sathya. In age and size, he was just another boy, but in all other respects, he was different. He was mature, far beyond his age, and had a mystical and divine aura about him. Particularly noteworthy was his deep sense of compassion. Poor though his family was, he would readily serve food to the hungry. When his mother said that they barely had enough food for the family, Sathya would reply that when the beggar ate, it was the same as him eating the food. Understandably, Ishwaramma was baffled, but she began to sense that Sathya was different. As a young lad, Sathya gathered boys like himself and formed a bhajan group that not only became the talk of the town, but also evoked great admiration amongst the villagers. Soon it was time to go to school, and since there was no school in the Puttaparthi of those days, Sathya first attended school in the neighboring village Bukkapatnam, having to walk several kilometers every day. Sathya proved to be such a brilliant student that his elder brother, Seshammaraju, insisted that young Sathya come with him to a town called Kamalapuram to study in the school where Seshamma was receiving training to be a teacher. And so Sathya went to Kamalapuram to stay with his brother and study in the school there. Life in Kamalapuram was hard, with young Sathya being burdened heavily with a lot of household work. His daily chore included bringing drinking water from a distant well, which was the only well that supplied potable water. As in Bukkapatnam, Sathya excelled in school, becoming the favorite of both teachers and students as well. In a few years, once Seshamaraju completed his training in Kamalapuram, he moved to Uravakonda to join in the high school there as a teacher, and he took Sathya along with him. Once again, Sathya excelled in school, but early in 1940, he suddenly began to act as if he had lost interest in studies. One thing led to another, and finally, as we saw earlier, on 20th of October 1940, he declared that the world was his home, that humanity was henceforth his family, and that his entire life would henceforth be dedicated to the service of humanity. When news of this reached his parents back home, they both were shocked and rushed immediately to Uravakonda to plead with Sathya to change his mind. That, of course, Sathya declined to do. But he did agree to return to Puttaparthi and further gave Mother Ishwaramma the word that Puttaparthi would be the permanent headquarters for his mission.